Hello. Good evening, FanTeam DFS fans. I'm Jack Humphrey KM on Twitter. I'm here tonight to run down the Gameweek 36 Monster Contest on FanTeam with, I've got two experts here. So I've got the reigning FanTeam season-long champion himself, Mr. Check Josh. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, Jack. How about you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. We hit a few snags before we come on, but we got there in the end. And the legend himself, Mr. FPL mode, Mr. FPL teach mode, as he's known as well. Andy, how are you doing, sir?
Having me on.
It's all good. It's all good. So, gentlemen, we're here tonight. We're going to run down and take a look at the FanTeam Monster Contest. For those of you who've not played FanTeam before, just head over to fanteam.com. There's loads of different contests over there: football, tennis, there's contests galore, every sport you want. But the weekly monster this week is a €2 buy-in. There's a €6,000 prize pool for that one, and you've got the usual €20 buy-in, and there's a €30,000 prize pool on that one. FanTeam are also going to be giving away 25 tickets to the €6,000 contest. All you've got to do is head over to FanTeam official on Twitter and just retweet their last tweet, and 25 winners will be chosen at random. So that'd be nice. And I can confirm that this is the last cash monster of the year. They'll be running some satellites next week for the big Game Week 38 finale. And I think we're all looking forward to that. We've got an exciting end to the season, haven't we, really? There's a title race still on, top four, relegation places still to be decided, an exciting end to this season.
Yeah, I love it when it's like this, when there's like lots to play for, lots of teams with like interest, so we can pick from different teams, and hopefully people will have like different angles to what we think as well. So everyone's teams are different, so hopefully that's the way we end anyway.
Most definitely. Andy, you enjoyed the season, the Premier League season so far?
Sorry. My hair or not?
He's here. He's having a few tech issues.
I've been in and out. Yeah, no. I've loved the season so far. I think it's obviously it was a tricky one with all the postponements and things that were happening, but because of that, it obviously led to opportunities later down the line with a lot of double game weeks and things like that. So I think once things settle down, you could get your plan in place with all those double game weeks and things. And it's been lovely in the season longs. And the weekly ones are obviously always fun, aren't they? And it's kind of gets you away from those season longs and just rely on those. So yeah, no, I've loved it so far.
No, definitely. It has been a fun season. As a Chelsea fan, it's not been the most exciting end to the season, but hopefully we can lift the FA Cup come the end of it.
Wow.
We'll see how
better
it
than
goes.
me, mate. Man United fan.
Yeah, Josh, you're a West Brom fan, I believe. So
yeah, we don't talk about our own teams. We're talking about fantasy football, right?
We're going to talk about fantasy football tonight. So the Game Week 36 Monster has got 10 games on it. And gentlemen, it starts with the 3:00 games. So we've got Brentford versus Southampton. We've got Burnley versus Aston Villa. Chelsea versus Wolves. Crystal Palace versus Watford. Those are the 4 3:00 games. Any of them sort of stand out for you? Any clean sheets? Any games that you predict that could be quite high scoring out of them games there?
You go first, Andy, if you want. Maybe not.
No, I think you go, Josh.
I'll go first. Yeah, so I think it's really interesting. I said this at the start when I was talking to Az the other day, but I think seeing how Leicester and West Ham respond to their European exits is a really interesting one. Yeah, we've lost Andy, but
we've gained someone though.
Oh, we've swapped. We've done it. We've done a substitution. It's all right. Hey, Lynn. Mute.
You need to unmute your mic, Lynn.
Oh no.
She's here. That's the main thing.
Yeah, she's here. That's the main thing. Yeah. Yeah. So I think, like for example, I think I really have a sneaky feeling for Everton this week. I don't know why. There she is. That's on now.
Here we go.
And here she is herself, Lynn. How are you doing this evening?
Hi, I'm good. I'm excited to trash your teams.
That's the most important thing, yeah.
That'll be
I'm
good.
just here to
Good
keep.
chat.
I'm here to keep law and order. That's all I'm here for. So, Lynn, we were just talking about the 3:00 Premier League games on Saturday. So we've obviously got Brentford versus Southampton, Burnley versus Aston Villa, Chelsea v Wolves, and Crystal Palace versus Watford. Do any of them games sort of stand out for you, clean sheet wise, or do you predict any that could be sort of high scoring out of those games?
I can't really see any of them being high scoring. Maybe
No.
Chelsea. Maybe they can get a few in. But I can see a couple of clean sheets.
Yeah, definitely. I fancy a couple of clean sheets from that sort of side. I actually fancy Brentford, at home to Southampton to keep a clean sheet. And I know we're going to talk about Josh's favourite player in all of fantasy Premier League games and Mr. James Ward-Prowse later. But I quite fancy Brentford. Brentford have been very good at home. They haven't. I believe they're on a 4-game win streak at home at the minute. So they're playing well at home. I just fancy them. Southampton look done. They haven't really. I don't think they've won since they beat Arsenal, have they?
Probably
I think it was
not.
2 games. I think that was 2 games ago. Yeah, to be fair, but before that, they went on a wretched spell. They lost. I remember they lost to Burnley on a Thursday night. Like they've had some really, really bad results. So, yeah, I don't know. This is a weird one because Brentford played so bad against Man United on Monday night. Like they were absolutely atrocious. So I'm wondering if they'll really bounce back from that or whether they'll just carry on the downward spiral. I'm not sure. So we'll have to see.
Definitely. We'll take a look at the evening games. So we've got Brighton versus Manchester United and Liverpool versus Tottenham at 7:45. Interesting kickoff time, that one on the Saturday. But that's the highlight of the Saturday slate, isn't it? The Liverpool-Tottenham game right there. And there's some interesting prices for them Tottenham guys on this week's Monster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they always are. Like when it seems to be specifically Tottenham, but whenever these Tottenham boys are playing away to one of the good teams, they always come out really, really ridiculously low prices. So, yeah, it's always something I try and take advantage of. Do you two like the prices on Son Kane as well?
I really do.
Yeah. Sorry, Lynn.
I am a Liverpool supporter, but I will have a Tottenham player in my monster team for sure because of the prices. They are so nicely priced.
So I did a bit of a strategy pod yesterday with Sean, and we were discussing this game in depth, really. And we were looking at the Tottenham players. Like, so Son and Kane, obviously the highlights are really cheap. You don't see them that price normally. But I know you're a fan of stacking within the monster, Josh. It's definitely a legitimate plan that you can use. We were going with Ben Davis in defence as well, so we were having like the triple Tottenham stack just because of the price. It allowed us to do so much. We could get so many City mids in, and it worked out lovely, really.
Yeah, and I reckon Lloris might be quite a cheap price as well, like for the save upside as well, because I think Mane, Salah, those are the two we know are going to be starting. I think they'll have lots of shots. So yeah,
does he actually do a lot of saves?
I think in this particular game he might do, just because it's Liverpool. There, you guys are so good, Lynn, as you know. So I could see lots of shots coming in. So this might be a good save up, like one of his higher save games, I think, for the season. I think.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a bit skeptical. I think there might be too many goals. Actually, might go on a minus. But that could be the optimistic Liverpool supporter in me.
No, I definitely prefer the attack. I definitely prefer the Son, Kane, Kulusevski. Obviously, Kulusevski's from your country as well, isn't he, Lynn? So, yeah, so he's a good price as well, and he was amazing when he came on last week. So, yeah.
I can definitely think he can be a good enabler this week.
Definitely. That's why me and Sean were talking about going with the Tottenham defense. I mean, they've been quite good defensively recently under Conte, and we were just saying, if they keep the clean sheet, you've kind of got a leg up on the field. If you go with a Tottenham defender, you've already got a leg up on the field within the contest. So, you have to balance it out as well. Let's move on to the Sunday slate. So we've got Norwich versus West Ham. We've got Leicester versus Everton, Arsenal versus Leeds, and Manchester City versus Newcastle. Be interesting to see how Manchester City respond after Wednesday's shock exit in the end, really. It was last minute and 3 goals, and yeah, it was wild. But I've got a funny feeling that Newcastle might be on the end of a drubbing in that game. I don't know about you, Lynn.
Yeah, it definitely could be. I'm a bit excited because Newcastle have not been bad lately. They've been pretty good, I have to say. So I don't think it's going to be that easy for City. So I think it will depend a bit on Pep and what he actually does. If he goes for it, he like plays Mahrez and KDB and all his best players. It could be a bloodbath. But if he doesn't, if he's going for more like, I need to rest these players, Newcastle is Newcastle, we can get them anyway, and he starts playing like Silva and Sterling and Grealish, then I'm not so sure they're actually going to win.
Yeah, I'm favouring bloodbath. I'm hoping it's a bloodbath anyway, because I think I'm going to play. I really want to play a lot of these players. I think a lot of the likes of De Bruyne, Sterling with the safety net. I think they're just great players. Like you obviously get like Mahrez or Foden if one of those doesn't play. I think it's just really nice with the City boys to have the safety net, isn't it?
But they're so expensive this week. So expensive.
That's why I need the drub in. Then I need it to be the bloodbath. I need it to be like 6-1 or something. But I think it's genuinely possible. I mean, they're going to be so upset about what happened on Wednesday night, and they're so good. So I think it is possible. I think the drubbing's possible. But Newcastle were great against you guys last week, Lynn, weren't they? So I think they had a good shape anyway. So yeah, maybe they can do the same.
They've been in an excellent run of form, Newcastle, to be fair to them. Let's take a look at West Ham Norwich. Talking about exits, bit of a sad way for West Ham to go out of the Europa League in the end. The red card to Cresswell early on. David Moyes got sent off as well. Are Norwich gonna be on the end of another drop in here from West Ham, or are we going to see a bit of a shock in this game?
I doubt it. I think they're too tired. I think they will need a week or so to catch up.
Josh?
Yeah, I'm finding this one really hard to call. I think the West Ham assets are a little bit too expensive for the uncertainty we've got here. They really haven't done well after European games for like the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks. So like the last 4 or 5 times they've played in Europe, they really haven't done well. Bowen's always the one I would punt if anyone, and I think he's 12-1 this week on the Monster. And he's got the full safety net just in case he doesn't play, but. I'm really skeptical of that price. I think there might be better options, to be honest.
But also, their defenders are kind of nicely priced, and it's Norwich. So if I was going to take a punt on a West Ham player, I would probably go and look at their defense rather than their attack. Yeah,
I think that's kind of what me and Sean done yesterday. We had Fabianski in goal and we had Cresswell at the back, so a little stack there. But yeah, it will be interesting. I mean, they've got quite a small squad, haven't they, West Ham? And that's kind of caught up with them towards the end of the season here with their European ventures. This is the game I want to get into quickly, Josh, because I know you are on the Everton side of this, and it's Leicester versus Everton. Why are you all in on Everton here?
Again, like Leicester had a tough game last night. Like a really tough game, I'd say. They were unlucky to go out. Again, it might be a bit deflating. There might be quite a bit of rotation on the Leicester side, I still think, like just because the short turnaround between Thursday and Sunday, then we might sort of get back to the main team next midweek, I think, for Leicester. So I think Everton against a weakened Leicester team with as much motivation as Everton can possibly have at this point. I just love Richarlison. I think him and Pickford are my main 2 assets in this game. I really like both of those. I think they're a little bit cheap. So, yeah, that's my thoughts.
Lynn?
I'm not convinced. I do like Richarlison, but I am not convinced, I have to say. Because I think they had a really good game against Chelsea, but they played Leicester 20th of April. It was 1-1. I would have to say Everton was the better team then as well, but it wasn't like they were that much better. Like total shots, 13 to Everton and 11 to Leicester, and that was like 2-3 weeks ago. It's not long ago. Ball possession, 37% to Everton, 63% to Leicester. I think Richarlison will probably score, but I'm not as convinced that it's going to be more than 1 goal.
No, I think I agree with you. I think one goal is probably what we're expecting from him. I don't think it's much more than that. But I think for 8.7, I think he is. I think one goal is absolutely fine. I think that's just about enough. And I actually watched that Leicester game like it was about just under a month ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But like Richarlison had about 6 chances in that game. Like it seems like everything's going through him right now, and I just think he is the only attacker I'd want to pick. Really, I don't think there's anyone else.
No, definitely. Just briefly on last night, typical Jose team performance, wasn't it, from Roma? Get the job done, get the 1-0 and go through. This game here, I think there could be goals in. Arsenal leads. But I think Arsenal are probably going to score the majority of them. Who are your favourite assets in this game, Lynn? And do you think there's going to be goals on both sides, or do you think Arsenal get the clean sheet?
I do not think they get the clean sheet.
No.
But they will score and they will win. And I could see them scoring quite a lot of goals, maybe even 3 goals.
Josh?
I love stacking this game. I think it's just such a good stack game. I think it's like so good to just run Rafinha back against like the likes of, I think the 2 I like are like Saka and Nketiah. I think I really like those 2. And Nketiah is a little bit much for like what we used to paying for him, I think. But I think that with the fixture, I think I love Saka and Rafinha, and I think my punt is Nketiah. So I think that's the mini stack I'd do if I was going to do this game.
I mean, Saka's almost an auto lock, isn't he? Like from the Arsenal team, he's the first one you go to and just auto lock him in. Me and Sean did a team yesterday, and we done Saka, and I think it was Odegaard we put in as well with our team. The thing is, the goals come from everywhere with Arsenal at the minute. Saka, Odegaard, Emil Smith-Rowe, and Nketiah, they're just scoring from all over the place. So they are a very, very good fantasy option. It's horrible to see as a Chelsea fan, but it's what it is. So they're the 10 games within this week's Monster Contest. The guys here have all built a team tonight. Sadly, we've lost Andy. So Lynn, you can rip his team, but he can't defend himself. So I'm going to get his team up now, and then we're going to add 3 players to it, I believe. Yes, so 3 players.
I think Andy's waiting to jump in. Jack, if you can, if is he allowed to jump back in so he can defend himself?
Sorry, I didn't even see him down there. Yep, I've got him. There he is.
It's all right. I've been here for the last 10 minutes. I've been listening. It's been lovely.
Sorry, I didn't see you down there. You were hiding right at the bottom of my screen.
That's all right.
So we're going to look at your team, Andy. Do you want to tell the listeners who you've got in as your sort of 8 core players, and then we're going to fit in the other 3 around it?
Yeah, so basically, I mean, I wouldn't overly say these are my 8 core players. I'd say these are I usually start off looking at the very last page and try and work out some bargains and work from there. Because I find it's a lot easier to build a team like that, and then all of a sudden you've got a lot of money left to like make upgrades and stuff. So these are the kind of the players that I've worked from the back, and then I've got a lot of the premiums that I thought we could talk about in terms of who we would want to get in after that. So I was listening earlier, like you said, and I really like that Everton fixture against Leicester. I think Leicester are going to be tired, and I think Pickford, even if they don't keep a clean sheet, is going to be getting the saves. I mean, in the last game, he was unbelievable, wasn't he, against Chelsea? So I feel like he's an okay pick for 7 million as well. Michaelenko's been getting forward quite well. I've been quite liking him as well. Not a massive fan of the double defence for Everton because Leicester could score, obviously, but I think he's an okay pick. Burnley are my little team I think could do quite well this week. Villa, I'm not a massive fan of them so far at the moment, and I feel like Burnley have been a lot better since Dyche has left. So if they obviously do well this week, I've got Roberts and McNeil there who are very, very cheap, both under 7 million. I'm a United fan, but that isn't swaying me too much with why I've gone with Elanga and Tellez. Tellez there, I mean, he's on some corners. He's playing left back. Brighton have been kind of quite poor in front of goal recently. So hopefully United carry on their lovely form they had against Brentford. That's as far as form goes with United. It won't go further back than that. And then Son, what a price, 7.6 million for arguably the most informed player in the league at the moment. And Liverpool obviously had their European heroics that they went through as well. And then I got Pukki up top. West Ham look kind of emotionally drained after they lost, didn't they? So I'm thinking maybe Pukki could get a few goals against West Ham.
Interesting. Lynn, I'm going to give you the floor. You wanted to lay into the team straight away, so it's all yours.
Tellez, Elanga, what is this? What is this? What's
What
going
is
on?
this? You can't just say what is
going
this over and over again. Come on, give me something.
Like, there's only like one player I like, or two players. Son is obviously if anyone scores against Liverpool, it's going to be Son. And at that price, he's a no-brainer. Totally agree. Michaelenko, I do actually like because he's got a lot of set-piece threat as well, and he likes going forward. I quite like him. But the rest, come on. Pookie, McNeil.
What's wrong with Pookie?
It's like you went to the second-hand shop and came out looking like a clown.
To be fair, remember as well, this has got 52 million left to spend. So there's going to be some major upgrades here, isn't there?
Yeah, but then you're going to have to change more than just 3 players. Like,
yeah. So what I can see is, like, even if we put in like 3 of the maximum players here, like, there'd still obviously be some upgrades to make, Andy, I think, wouldn't there? So, like,
100%.
I think this I can't believe the McNeil pick. I just can't believe that. I just, like, they're I don't think he's got an attack in return all season. Like, I just can't.
His stats are good.
I can't defend this. I can't defend this one. I think we can easily swap this for a De Bruyne or something and still have enough money for the rest of the team.
The biggest thing I'll say about this team is I sent it, and then like 6 hours later, I completely changed this team. So it's I made the upgrades, and I realized I had about 20 million left in the bank. So yeah, my team is very, very different. I think there's some picks here that could be okay, by the way. I think Elanga's an interesting shout against Brighton away from home. Elanga's most probably going to start. Rashford's definitely out. I think Son's obviously fine. We've already spoke about that. I think Everton defence could be quite good against Leicester. And Pookie's not that bad. I think Pookie's been very, very good this year. And against a tired West Ham team, I don't see why he can't get a goal or two.
8 million. 8 million, Andy.
Andy, I'm going to stick up. I'm going to stick up for you here. I like this team because this is a Jack team. This is going against the grain. You're going against what everyone else is going to do.
Exactly.
This team could take down the whole lot. I like it, and like I say, you've left enough money in the bank for us to work with, and we can now fit in 3 key pieces to really upgrade this team.
You can literally fit in whoever you want. So it's not like Lynn's team. It's not like Lynn's team where we're having to pick like Connor Roberts and Dwight McNeil and all of that. Now you can pick whoever you want in my team.
Why do you keep saying we're picking McNeil? We don't want McNeil.
Josh,
you watching Bag of Brace this weekend?
Josh, do we start with a City asset in midfield? We have to, don't we?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. I think you can. It's all personal preference on the City mids, because I think any individual one of them could run riot. But I think my favourite's Mahrez this week. I really think Mahrez is going to start, and I think with the penalties, with just how good he is on the right, I think he could have a really good game this week.
And like you say, with the safety net as well, even if he doesn't start, we'd get Foden or Silva or Hayes. You know, there's loads of players we could get, isn't there with the safety net? So everyone happy locking in Mahrez within this team?
Yes.
Yeah, he's no Dwight McNeil, but go for it.
Right, Mahrez is locked in. So we've got 2 more players. I don't know if you guys are a fan. I like putting 5 midfielders in with my monster teams. I don't. Josh, you're the reigning season-long champion. What's your opinions on that? Or do you like to go with 4 at the back and just play like a normal sort of 4-4-2 formation? Or how do you want to approach this?
Yeah, I've found with all my monster builds in like the last month or so, especially, I've just been absolutely slamming all the money into midfield, and I don't think it's any different this week. There's so many midfielders I love, and a lot of them are showing on this first page here. I think there's so many good ones. Lynn, have you got a favourite of these that are on the page?
Of course.
It's got to be
the
Mohamed
one
Salah,
and
right?
only, the highest scorer of all. It's a no-brainer.
I thought you might say that. I think he's a great pick this week.
Especially with that budget. Just go for it.
So Mr. Salah's going in, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so we've got Salah in. So now we can have a defender or a forward. We've got 23.3 million left. Andy really has just given us like the bank to work with here. So, guys, tell available? Me. I can put it on available. Yeah, sorry.
Makes it a bit easier.
There we go. It's coming up. So they're all available. Do you want to add a forward, or do you want to go to a defender?
I
We could make Andy happy and put in Ronaldo.
Oh,
We could
this
do.
week. It's a good price as well.
I quite like that. He's on form at the minute.
I'd be hating going into this weekend without a City defender, personally.
Well, you should have picked one then, shouldn't you?
It's all right. We can get rid of Tellez in a minute, Andy. It's all right. We can just upgrade into Cancelo.
Oh, lovely. So you're going to go Ronaldo, are you?
I think you put Ronaldo in. He's on fire at the minute, isn't he? He's scoring goals, and I think he kind of wants to go out on a bang for Manchester United because I don't think he's going to be back next year, is he?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that.
I think Ten Hag's come out today, hasn't he, saying he could be back next year.
Oh, interesting. Do you want to stick him in, or do you want to go with Chelsea? Do you want to go with Werner?
Just stick him in, and then we've got 20 million to upgrade everybody else, haven't we?
Yeah, I like Ronaldo if we're allowed to use the rest of the money on. There's one particular spot I really want to upgrade.
Right, come in, Josh.
Can we get rid of this? Can this McNeil go, please? I just can't. I just think when you've got the choice of him or De Bruyne or him or Saka, I just want one of those two. You know what I mean? So that's how. I think Saka's great for this week. I think he's amazing for this week.
Tell you what would be a nice stack is if you had Jota in there. Jota would be quite nice with Salah, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
Right, we can swap Alanga for him. It's fine. Like we can just keep getting rid of all of them. Yeah.
I like that.
Do you want to take Alanga out and put Jota in? I feel like we've just ripped Andy's team apart, but
it's fine. It's fine. I did tell you, didn't I, that as soon as I sent it, I was like, I feel like I should change this.
The thing is, I liked every individual pick here except for McNeil, in all seriousness, but I just knew there was too much money left in the bank. You know what I mean? I just don't think you can leave this much in the bank, to be honest. So Andy gave us some good base picks, and we just need to pick 2 or 3 of them per team, basically, and then I think we're in a good place. So
yeah. So there's 6.8 million left in the bank. Do you want to do any more upgrades, or are you happy with that? Or do you want to take Alanga out and do you want to put Jota in?
Bring Jota in for Alanga, I reckon.
Right, let's do that.
The other one is obviously Cancelo, as you talked about, Andy, because if you really want a City defender, I think maybe upgrading Roberts to Cancelo might be an amazing idea as well. You know what I mean? Something like that. So, there's plenty of options to do with this team. I like it.
Are you just trying to be nice and let him keep another United now? Or...
Well, we added one in, Lynn. It's our fault. We added another one in up top. I just can't believe we did that.
That is enough.
Yeah.
I quite like the team. I liked it before, Andy. I like what you've done. That is the type of team I do. It's against the grain. I think if you want to take a contest like this down, especially if you're playing like a single entry, for example, that's how you build a team. Like, you just have to go against everyone else. Andy left enough money in the bank to play with.
Some of us are sheep, aren't we?
I love it. I love what we've done with that team. So there is Andy's teams. Don't worry, Andy. You'll get your chance now. Will go to. I think we'll go to Josh's team first, and then Lynn. Andy can have his revenge on you after. So let's get Josh's team up. There we go. So Josh, hit me up. Tell me why you like this team.
This isn't mine.
That's mine.
No, is it not? Is it Lynn's?
This is a really good team.
This is Lynn's. Right, Lynn. There you go, Andy. You're going to get your chance now. Hit me up, Lynn. What do you like about this team?
Everything.
Is that it? Right. So how much money we've got? 23.9 million left in the bank. So you've got Mr. Salah and De Bruyne in already. We've got 3 players to get in. You haven't left us a lot of money to work with here, have you?
No, because it's a bit of a challenge.
Bit of a challenge. Josh, what do you think of this team?
I love some of the individual picks. I love all of the midfield. If Eze starts, I think that's fine. He's not like a very Josh pick. He's more like boom or bust kind of pick, which I like to go for the boring Ward-Prowse sorts of picks, you know what I mean? The ones that just get like 3-4 points and then might have a bit of upside every once in a while. But I love Richarlison, love Salah, love De Bruyne, love Mount. They're all in my builds this week. I really like Luka Dean as well, actually. So yeah, I think this is a really nice team. Eze's the punt, obviously.
Andy, are you going to be nice or?
No. It's. I mean, obviously, if you spend all the money in the world, you're going to have a good team, aren't you? But it's. I'm looking at it. I'm not as massive a fan of the West Ham defense as you said. In terms of, I feel like their league season's kind of over. Even if it is against Norwich, it's away from home, and they had their heartbreak in midweek. So I'm not actually seeing a clean sheet myself. I think Villa the same. I think Luka Dean's actually he came back from the dead last week, didn't he? So I'm shocked to even see him in any entries now because I thought he was done for the season. Mount, I think, is he the highest midfielder for Chelsea this week? So he's got everybody underneath him. So obviously, if he doesn't play, you've got Havertz coming in, I'm assuming, second. So
exactly.
Havertz could potentially be on pens, although I think he said something about Lukaku maybe playing this week, so that might take him off it. But Mount's obviously a good pick. I think Eze's an interesting one. I think I would stretch to try and get Zaha, because I think there's been talk about Zaha playing up top and he's on pens and obviously he's been in good form recently. So I think I'd probably stretch him to Zaha if I could. But De Bruyne and Salah. De Bruyne is an interesting one though, because he is being managed massively. So my worry with someone like De Bruyne is he's going to play 60 minutes and then go off. So I think I prefer the Mahrez pick in terms of, if he plays, he's probably going to play most of the minutes. And then Richarlison, I think, I agree with that one up top. I quite like that. He's on pens and it seems to all be about him at the moment, doesn't it? So I would love to slate it loads, but obviously, she's picked expensive players, so it's quite easy to quite like it, isn't it?
It is. I'm actually similar thought to you, Andy, with the City assets in particular, like De Bruyne, and I mean they put a lot into that game in midweek. Obviously they fell short in the end, but I kind of like Sterling this week. Something's telling me to play Sterling. I don't know what it is. He only come on, didn't he, in extra time in that game, so he didn't play a lot of that game. But something's telling me to play him this weekend. Should we start with the goalkeeping position? Because you haven't given us a goalkeeper, Lynn. So should we just start with the boring position and get that out of the way?
Sounds good. I think
where do we think it?
Quite a few clean sheets, even at some like 8 million goalkeeper level.
Yeah, that's what I was. Where do we think the clean sheet is going to come from down there? I mean, with Dina, do you think that Villa are going to keep the clean sheet against Burnley? Do you put Martinez in goal?
It could be Martinez, also like Rhea. So those two would probably be my favorite picks.
Yeah, I like Brentford in that game. I fancy Brentford to keep a clean sheet in that game. Andy, anywhere you want to go with this?
I mean, it's a little bit more expensive, but I don't mind Guaita. I think Watford might struggle against Palace at home. Palace are very, very good at home, and they're a good team this year. So I think Watford might struggle to score.
Josh?
Yeah, you know, I love doubling up, so I would go Martinez or Fabianski in this team, almost certainly. I think. Yeah.
Should we go with Martinez then?
Sounds good.
I think between the three of us, between a lot of us, that we sort of fancy them there. Where do you want to go here, Lynn? It's your team. Where do you want to go back into midfield? Get a fifth midfielder?
Yes, I would go back into midfield, and I would probably cap my max price to 6 million and see what's available.
The Lynn strategy. This is the Lynn strategy, and it's known in the industry. Yeah.
What I do, I always like to add one cheap midfielder, someone who plays 90 minutes. That's basically all it takes. And then if it's not, there's an upside if they can get some kind of return. So looking at this, I see a couple like Bruno G could be a good pick, because if Newcastle actually score against United, he will be involved. And he's very cheap.
He's very cheap this weekend, isn't he? He's been playing well as well, hasn't he, recently?
I'd like to propose, I think the Spurs assets are so close to this price point this week. I think you can use Kulusevski even as an enabler this week. 6'9", it's pushing a bit, Lynn. 6'9", but it's I
really like one cheap midfielder though.
Who do you like? Oh, do you have one in particular from this week though?
Well, I like Bruno G in this. Looking at this, I like well, Sissoko is usually my go-to guy. Trincao could be interesting. I don't know what his minutes are like at the moment. Yeah, those are my top priorities. Willock could also be if he's got enough minutes. So Bruno G would be my pick of these.
Yeah, Bruno
Andy?
G is my favourite on this page.
Yeah. All right, we'll stick Bruno G in, and then that
Then
leaves us with.
If we find a cheap forward we actually like, then we can upgrade him.
Well, we've got 10.4 million. So
We've landed on Ronaldo money again, haven't we? We've literally landed on the Ronaldo money, I think.
Well, I think that's the option again, personally.
Yeah.
Unless you wanted to go with you could do a triple Villa stack, couldn't you? You could stick in Ollie Watkins, I suppose.
I like that as well, yeah. I do like that as well.
I do like that as well, but Ings came on and he was really good. So I'm a bit worried about their minutes. So I would probably go Ronaldo.
Ronaldo, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Happy with that team, Lynn? Who would you captain? It's got to be Salah, right?
Yeah, it would be Salah. What I would do now as well is I would remove Bruno G again and go back to midfields and check if there is any better options at what I've got to play with.
We got an extra 0.2. There might be some new people showing at the top, like hopefully.
Let's go to 6.5 and then we'll see what we've got with the. So
the maximum? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
That's a good upgrade. Yeah, it's got to be some maximum. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. I like it. I like the
I'm
team,
excited now. I'm excited now, Jack. It's good.
I will screenshot all these teams and share them after the stream as well, so everyone can see how they were built. And yeah, it's good fun. This. Let's move on to your team, Josh. You are the last one we can take the mick out of and see what we would do with it.
All try not to fall asleep. Yeah, it's quite boring as usual for me, but yeah.
Well, I'm disappointed that you didn't have the main man in midfield, to be honest, to start with. But
you can add him in for me. Don't worry.
So, Josh, hit me up. What do you like about this so far, and why have you picked these players?
As you can see, I'm like a man of structure. So I always tend to build my teams with a very similar structure. So you talked about it earlier, Jack. The 5 in midfield, 2 double defenses at the back, which is what I've already plugged in here. So I did that so you could pick the more attacking, interesting options, to be honest. But yeah, so I've gone double Palace defense, double Burnley defense. I really fancy both those clean sheets. And then finally, obviously, we've got my man Mahrez we talked about earlier. I love Zaha. And yeah, Ronaldo and Kane. It's very boring. Hope no one's fell asleep. There we go.
Andy?
Yeah, no, I like it. Funnily enough, in the one I did later, I quite liked Klein as well, because Klein is getting minutes for Palace, isn't he? And he's probably a bit cheaper than those ones, but obviously doesn't have anybody underneath him. But yeah, I like the double Burnley. Like I said, I quite fancy them actually against Villa. I think that could easily be a boring 0-0 potentially as well. It's just those City mids. It's so hard to trust one of them, but obviously with the safety net underneath them, if they don't start, at least you get the one underneath it. So I think picking one of those players is really important this week, because I think you do want to have one of them. And then Kane, yeah, didn't fancy Son instead of Kane? It was a choice, a mental choice out of the two of them.
Yeah, so I just think I was really struggling for strikers. Like, I liked your boy, Andy. I liked Pookie as well, but it was Pookie, Richarlison, and these two pretty much. I couldn't really see much else. So I just had more spots in midfield. So out of the two, like I've built some lineups, one with Kane, one with Son, for example, and just alternated it like that. But I found it easier to spend the money in midfield. That's why I went for Kane, and then I left the open spaces in midfield. So yeah.
Yeah, nice. And then Zaha genuinely is one of my favourite picks this week. I think Zaha's a really, really good pick. Moving forward as well, because he's got loads of fixtures left, hasn't he? So yeah, I really like that.
A lot of people will be bringing in Zaha on their season-long teams next week in 37. I can see people penciling it in already. So yeah.
Lynn, do you like this team? Do you like the core of it? Anything
Yeah,
that upsets you in it?
I do quite like it. My only question is why Kane over Son. Is just the money issue, or do you actually believe it's a better pick?
I think Son is a marginally better pick, but as I say, I think there's so many good midfield options this week. I just think like it's easier to fit Kane in and like alongside the likes of Salah, Saka, Rafinha, Mahrez, James Ward-Prowse, the best player in the world, etc. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that was the way I landed. Just like I didn't have enough strikers, so I leaned more towards Kane as like a decent option. But I do think Son is better if there weren't any such thing as positions kind of thing. I think Son is a better. I think he's more likely to score more points if that makes sense. But yeah.
Looking at this team, it looks like the first thing you do is look at where could the clean sheets be, and then you stack two. Is that your tactic?
Yeah. So what I do, obviously, I enter quite a lot of teams each week, right? So what I do I look down the fixtures and I just identify 5 teams that I think might keep a clean sheet, and then I just build different lineups with different combinations of those 5 teams. So like I've got like this week, for example, I'm happy to share. I've got Burnley, Crystal Palace. I've actually got the other side of the Burnley game, Villa, because I really do think it could be 0-0 or 1-0 either way. And then the other 2 I had were Southampton, because they were really cheap. I've just got a weird feeling about Southampton. I don't know why. So that's my like weird one. And then I had one more that was another Everton we talked about earlier. I like the Everton clean sheet as well. So I just picked 5 really cheap teams, and I've just done like different combinations of each one. And as you can see here, this is like the Burnley Crystal Palace, one of the examples of that. So yeah,
I like it, Josh. You basically do what I do. You stack up like that. You look at what games you think the clean sheets could happen in. It's exactly the process that I use. I like it. I like what you've done with this team. I like the core of it. And you've left 34.7 million in the bank. So you've left us with a chunk of money that we can spend as well. Can I just start it by chucking in like the main man in midfield?
of course you can, mate. I mean, I'm never going to say no to that, am I? So
Mr. James Ward-Prowse going straight into the midfield. Lynn, Andy, do you have any objections over that? Or
No.
Not a fan of that pick? I mean, he's on fire at the minute as well, isn't he, James Ward-Prowse? He's just he's playing absolutely excellent.
I was a bit confused earlier, Jack, because people were talking about like Brentford clean sheets or something like that. I'm not sure how that's possible with this man. Like he scores every week. Like it's like.
To be fair, I'm kind of with you. I could see a clean sheet either way within that game. Like I could see Brentford. I do favour the Brentford side, but the main man, it's your team, Josh. The main man, like it'd be out of place, wouldn't it, if he wasn't in the team? So he's got to be in it, mate.
Yeah, I've got quite a few stacks with him with like Bednarek this week, because I like the combination of the corner, like in case the corner hits Bednarek's head, you know what I mean? So yeah, I've built up quite a lot with like double Southampton defense and Ward-Prowse with it. So that's sort of why I preferred that side of the game, I think, just so I can play Ward-Prowse basically. So yeah.
Where do you want to go from here? Do you want to add another midfielder in? We've got 25.9 million left over 2 players. So
are you going
nice budget. You have really left us with a nice budget.
Are you going to completely fade Liverpool in this entry?
I think this is your moment, Andy. If you want to put a Liverpool in, I think it fits really nicely in this team. So yeah, I think we've got the budget for it. Who do you have a preference over? I think Salah and Mane are the main 2, aren't they? Or
well, I'm just wondering whether, because obviously the other 2 we've put Liverpool in there, and I'm wondering whether this could be an entry where if Liverpool struggle against Spurs and it's 0-0 or Spurs win 1-0, whatever happens, obviously that's one of those ones that can shoot right to the top, isn't it?
Yeah, I see the thing. I think I always see so much ownership going towards Salah, and I think the other 2 get largely forgotten. So maybe
Jota
we could go different,
yeah.
but also have Jota or Mane. Yeah,
I like Mane personally.
I don't like Mane this week.
No.
What do you think, Lynn?
Well, I would, if Jota starts, he will be the best pick, I would say. Mm-hmm. He might even outscore Salah. And if Jota doesn't start, get Mane.
As a striker as well, if Jota doesn't start. So yeah, I like the thinking of picking Jota, I think, actually. I might change that in all my lineups I've built already, actually. Because I suppose
if he doesn't start, we'd get Mane as the safety net anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I mean. So in scenario 1 where you get Jota as a striker, and in scenario 2 where Jota doesn't play, you get Mane as the striker. So it's perfect. It's like you get it either way. You know what I mean? It's great.
Right, let's shove Jota in, and then we've got 1 place left. Do you want to add another? Do you want to stay in the midfield again, Josh? You have to stay there.
It sort of looks like it's landed perfectly on Diaz, yeah. But I don't know. I think we could maybe add like Mason Mount's in this price bracket. I'm pretty sure. So like, could we add him maybe? Like
get up to the price brackets for 13 million. You use Grealish or Mason Mount. Yeah.
The absolutely like. So I've got a wild punt, and it's based on something. It's not what Andy said earlier, but I heard him say it earlier. Like Lukaku might be a decent pick this week. Just like it's like this is crazy.
Trust me, as a Chelsea fan, it's not a good thing.
I can't believe I'm saying it. Like I just can't believe I'm saying it. He's got penalties. I know he's this exact price because I've got him in one of my teams actually. So, I've paired him with Alonso and James. Do you think that's really that bad, Jack? Playing the triple stack like that? Do you think it's a bad line?
I don't mind Alonso and James. I just don't like Lukaku. It's not him as a player because he is a very good player. It's not like he's a very good player. It's just the system that he plays in. Tuchel's system doesn't suit him. We're not built to play the way that he's best at. Really, we saw it into how they used him and deployed him, and it's just not how Chelsea play. So no, I don't think he's an option. But I'll head over there. I mean, he's 12.1 million.
I think I only like playing him with the two fullbacks, just so you can get the combo again of the attack in return with the assist, you know what I mean, or whatever. So yeah, not for this team, but I just wanted to say that I am going to play a little bit of him just in case the miracle happens and he scores a goal or something like that. So
where do you want to stay in midfield then? Like, do you want to just finish it up there? Do you want to try and stack another Liverpool player in there or a Tottenham player? It's up to you. Or do you want to go with Mount?
It's a really tricky one for this build, isn't it? I don't think any strikers fit like this price bracket or anything. So I think it just naturally like leads us towards picking a midfielder maybe. But like, I mean, Cancelo's 11-8. I don't think, or something like that. I don't think that's the worst pick in the world. If we wanted to pair that with Mahrez, I don't think that's that bad. But I think I'd go Cancelo or just like completely not stack this team and go with the likes of a Mount or something like that. I think both of those are very reasonable.
Well, I think you stay. From my point of view, personally, I think you go with Cancelo just for the stack. You started with stacks within the base build of this team, so that would be the way I go. Andy, any thoughts?
Yeah, I do like the Cancelo pick, and I think for a lot of these teams this week, I almost feel like they're going to be lower scoring, and it's maybe the defenders that can get you a few of those points. So I think Cancelo's a good pick personally. I don't know what's the Liverpool defender. Are we priced out of those? So if we went like Trent or someone like that.
No, they're below. They're like 10-2, I think. But we're obviously playing Kane against that, so like we wouldn't.
Oh, of course you are. Sorry, I forgot Kane was there.
I just think we're all in on the Tottenham scoring side of things this week. I think if Liverpool clean, all my teams are dead basically. I think they're all pretty dead. So
yeah. And you don't fancy a Chelsea wing back against Wolves? Clean sheet almost guaranteed. And if you go for someone like what is it? I'm assuming James is the most expensive. Yeah, and you've got that safety net there is quite lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that as well. I like that a lot as well, to be honest. I think there's so many picks this week. I think it's really exciting, actually.
Yeah,
it is. Lynn, do you want to
like
to add to it?
I like all of these. They're all good picks.
All right, I'm going to wrap it up then with it. I'm going to put in Cancelo. Josh, you started with stacks. I think we continue with the stacks. I don't think we go any other way with it. And I think that's the best way to play the monster stacking. Josh, I know you like to do it as well. Lynn, is that a favourite thing for you to do just before we head off?
I do it sometimes. I say 50% of the time.
Andy?
Yeah. It's usually stacks. Pretty much the same as Josh. Is hope for some like only 2 clean sheets is better than hoping for like 4, isn't it? So it's usually the way I play it. And like you said, look at set pieces. So if someone can assist the goal scorer, that's absolute gold, isn't it? So
yeah, definitely, guys. Thank you for joining me this evening. Josh, where can we find your lovely self?
Just on Twitter, Jack. The handle's on the screen. Check Josh FF. Thanks.
Lynn.
Lynn_FPL.
And Mr. Teach Mode himself down there. Andy, how
yeah.
sir?
Yeah, at FPL mode and kind of here, there, and everywhere most of the time.
Cheers, guys. Like I say, just head over to fanteam.com. The monster contests are live. They kick off at 3 p.m. tomorrow. There's 2 different contests. You've got your €2 level entry for a €6,000 prize pool with that. You've got your €20 level entry, and there's a €30,000 prize pool within that. And FanTeam just tweeted out 25 tickets to give away for the €6,000 contest. All you have to do is retweet that tweet. Winners are chosen at random. Have a great game week 36, everyone, and may it be very profitable for all of you. And I hope to see all of your names on the leaderboard this week. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Cheers.
you.